I came from the West Coast, so I'm kind of cold and I'm worrying about that. But probably thinking that you're not worried about your home and any sort of protection around your home. I think you should be, because there's some dangers lurking in those walls, and that's those pipes that are constantly going up and down with pressure. There's fluctuation in that pressure. Those seams are being affected, those joints are being affected, and eventually you'll have a leak. Just to put it in perspective, last year there was 1.5 million leaks reported to insurance companies for residential leaks. Commercial leaks is even bigger and a much costlier problem, because folks go home at night in an office building and that leak just goes on and on and on. And if you have a high rise like this, it goes down and down and down, and there's a lot of pissed off tenants. There's, in residential, there's an approximate number of maybe 2 million leaks that go unreported. And the reason why they don't go reported is because property values will be affected, premiums will be affected, so they rather repair it than go in and talk to the insurance folks. The average claim is pretty costly. It's somewhere around $9,000 to $10,000 for insurance companies, but as you can see, is the most frequent and the second most costly insurance claim. So it's a big problem for insurance companies, it's a big problem for homeowners, but it's kind of hidden. It's inside the wall, you're not really paying attention to it, it's not a big concern. A lot more money is spent on security systems and cameras and anti-intrusion devices and rings and all these other cool smart devices that do have a purpose, but they're very low in terms of the risk to the homeowner. The last thing with some of these issues going on inside the wall is the mold. Some folks over time become allergic to their own home, and they just think, well, I'm just getting older, so I developed allergies at my old age, or I've been around this new neighborhood, this new home, and I just developed allergies from the place where I moved from. That's not the case. There's stuff going on inside the walls, and that stuff is the mold. The other problem that homeowners face is being able to manage and understand how much water they're using. And right now, water use is really a guessing game. And you can pick whichever tool you like. You can go outside and try and use a clipboard or whatever other device to keep track of what's going on in this thing here, whatever that is. There's some funny dials on there that people sometimes get confused by. It's constantly spinning, and they're wondering why is it constantly spinning. So they're always wondering what the heck's going on with their meter out on the street. The other thing is that very intuitive water bill. So there's a lot of great information here, except something that can affect your behavior. So you're getting this a little bit too late. You're getting it well after you use water. You have no idea what's really affecting your water use. Let me illustrate what I mean by that. Before I put the system in my home, I used to wash foods, meats, whatever the case may be, and walk maybe 5-10 steps over to season it and put it in the oven. Those 5 to 10 minutes accumulated to anywhere between 10 and 20 gallons worth of water. You add that up day by day, if you cook at home frequently, it adds up to a lot of water. There's a lot of other things that you do in the home that you don't realize, because this is not going to help you realize how to manage, help you realize your water. It won't change your behavior in any way. The last thing is, and this is a real serious pain point, is the increasing price of water. I live in a town called Poway in San Diego, and every year, I don't know how they figure out how to change the price of water. I think they use the Wheel of Fortune, whatever the heck they call that thing, to figure out what the new price point is going to be. So prices are going up. And it has nothing to do necessarily with scarcity of water revolving around droughts. As you notice, some of these cities here, such as Seattle and Atlanta, there tends to be some water falling there. So they have access to water. Their problem is the infrastructure. They can't store it. There's some challenges to getting it to the home. So as a result, as they start charging to get that to the homeowner, to store it, to clean it, to process it, those prices start to go up. So what's needed? Basically a solution that can attack all three things. The first thing is being able to detect that leak anywhere in the home. And unlike the contact sensors that require you to kind of guess where that leak is going to be, and you put it behind the washing machine or underneath the sink, You need something that can protect your entire home. The same way that a security system is protecting someone from coming into any part of your home, that's really what you're trying to do here. The next thing is have a way to turn off that water. Water leaks occur at night and when you're not home. And the reason for that is that pressure is constantly building. That buildup of pressure releases when you're not there because no one's using it. So as a result, you're sitting here listening to this great presentation by Emilio, and you get home to a disaster, right? We want to prevent that. So you want to be able to remotely turn off that water, or as quickly as possible turn off that water. And then the last thing is, if you can see your water use as you use it in real time, you'll be able to manage it, to do something about it, to change your behaviors. So that's what we're working on. We're working on a system that is composed of a sensor. It's a whole home sensor. It goes right over the top of the pipe. So there's no need to cut the pipe, which is what gives us a little bit of advantage for the homeowner to actually integrate it. All that information captured by the sensor will go to the hub. This is where all the analysis is done, data is stored. This communicates via Wi-Fi, and you may lose Wi-Fi, so that's why we store the data here, but we also back it up on the cloud. So once we regain Wi-Fi, it does go up to the cloud for use. You can't have any smart device without an app, so we have water management done on the app, and we have two valve controllers. One is a retrofit, a do-it-yourselfer, which is here, which allows you to basically have, again, the homeowner, the simplicity of having the homeowner put the sensor right over the top of the pipe. It allows the valve controller to go directly over your existing valve. And for some new home builds or remodels, we have an inline version. And we decided if we're gonna give you the valve integrated, we decided to make it out of stainless steel. So we know this is gonna outlast the rest of your plumbing in the home. Just a little bit about the app, just to give you an idea how water management, because I think people can kind of figure out if you have a leak, you just want to turn it off remotely. It's just a button on the app after you get an alert. This is just an overview of the app. The big thing that we want to do is we want to motivate, we want to drive the behavior that stimulates savings. And this is the savings indicator right here. So what we're looking at is this is your total use based on your desired savings or your desired daily use. You've saved 13 gallons that day. You can start looking at your hourly use, and what we've been able using some machine learning is know what your normal use patterns are. This green line indicates what you typically use during that hour. Again, it shows you something's out of whack. Maybe your son, your daughter goes in the shower and does the 45-minute showers like my children do. And then this gives you the overview of the last 7 days. So your daily goal, and see how well you're doing there.
About 1 minute.
I'll speed it up. So let me go real quick. There's about 73 million homes in America, about 1 million per year. Additional market that we can tap into. We're looking at some homes that are over 20 years old, and only because plumbing becomes a problem at about 20, 25 years. Moving over to this side, the target market, there's about 3 million users that we've identified in the US, and that's based on their adoption of smart home technology and the integration of smartphones. So about 80% of homeowners have some smartphone, and about 20% of them have smart home technology. We're looking to sell this thing initially for about $500 with some pretty good margins. There's some other revenue and profitability opportunities for us, such as upgrades of the systems. So if you don't want to look by hour, you want to look by point of use inside the home, we can provide some of that stuff. These are different sales channels. I never used to look at water utilities as a possible sales channel until they became our biggest pilot tester. So they're testing them because they have customer satisfaction issues and other problems they're trying to resolve with their homeowners, like with their government agencies and some other contracts. This is me, my contact, and I'd be happy to answer 30 seconds worth of questions.
So there's a lot of other guys out there doing this kind of stuff, which is fine. It means there's an opportunity. Any of those other brands that have been around for a few years impressing you?
Yes.
Who are some of those other brands that you think you can learn something from?
So Flume, Flow, Buoy.
Flume, Flow, and Buoy?
Even Fluid.
Fluid?
Yes. They impress me because they're teaching you what we're going to do well. What I mean by that is Flume has a system that goes over the existing water meter. so they're limited to the accuracy of that meter. Flow has some challenges at low flow, oddly enough. So they turn off the water in the middle of the night in your home and check for any leaks, and then they recharge the system, and that's how they detect if you have basically a pinhole leak. While our system's continuously monitoring, we can do that. Fluid was the one that came up with a lot of crazy things that really.
Those are the guys up in Minneapolis, Fluid?
No, I believe they're in California. And then Bowie has a system, but they're limited because you have to cut the pipe. Our system goes over the existing pipe, so it's intended for the homeowner to be able to quickly integrate.
Even your valve goes over the existing pipe?
Yeah, so this goes right over the existing valve.
Is your inline offering, can you shut off?
Yes, yes, so it's a
Okay.
motor with the valve completely integrated. So you cut the line, it's for a new home, for.
Right, but if you have a leak, can you shut off the water?
Yes, absolutely, that's the intent, yeah.
So that's right down with the monitor.
Have you thought about going to hotels and like institutional market?
Yeah, we currently have a couple of those in pilot.
That's a big deal.
They don't care about water use, they just
Yeah.
care about leaks, you're absolutely right.
Have you looked at PACE financing, water conservation financing tied to the buildings? I think it's like anyways, it's innovative financing, that you should check it out.
Okay.
PACE financing, PACE.